And this year, it's going to be a great time for everyone to find a partner. So where is my romance luck? Where is my destined relationship? We don't really believe in the idea of a destined partner. We just talk about whether a suitable relationship will appear for you. So you can understand that this means you have romance luck, or it's easier for you to find romance. Where does the root cause of this situation come from? Hello everyone, I'm Teacher Dagen. You all love how I can explain Zi Wei Dou Shu in such a simple and easy to understand way. Many netizens leave comments saying we're the Guoju Zi Wei Association. No, that's not us. We're the International Zi Wei Society. This is very important, because a society is only recognized as such if it's focused on learning. We are dedicated to education. July has arrived, and there are two topics we absolutely have to talk about. One is Ghost Month, and the other is Valentine's Day. In Taiwan, there are actually 3 Valentine's Days: Western Valentine's Day on February 14th, and the Qixi Festival, which is the lunar calendar's Valentine's Day. And then there's Christmas. Every time these kinds of holidays come around, because of media promotion and the push from businesses, you often start to feel empty and lonely. You often wonder, why is there no one by my side? Or why is it this particular person by my side? So terrible, should I change or not? Or the person by my side is great, so should I get married? Or the person by my side is pretty good, and I'm quite happy, right? Of course, we often hear people say that those who study fate and fortune telling are always dealing with unlucky things. You want to solve problems. No one is going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to ask me for a reading and say, teacher, can I ask why I have so many admirers and why every man treats me so well? People don't really come to ask that kind of question. Or, teacher, can I ask why I'm always so good at making money? No matter what I do, I just make a lot of money. It's pretty unlikely that someone would spend $90,000 to ask that kind of question, right? Most of the time, the people who come to ask are always asking, why don't I have this? And in a broader sense, why is what I have not as good as I expected? When Valentine's Day comes and we see others enjoying their sweet relationships, we start to wonder, why is there no one by my side? And why do I feel so empty and lonely? So when it comes to Qixi Festival, most people start to discuss, where is my romance? Where is my destined partner? Can I find a man who truly treats me well? Even if the man I have now isn't that great, not very reliable, it's like having a secondhand car that's about to break down. But you still can't replace it. Why? Because you don't know where the next car is and you don't dare to change. So you just keep repairing that secondhand car. Here, inevitably, we want to share with everyone. How can you actually find how your destined relationship will appear? Whenever we talk about this topic, I always feel a bit pained because anyone who follows my channel will definitely know. We have a catchphrase that goes, there is no such thing as a destined partner in life. A destined partner only exists if you draw it with a compass. Why do we say this? Because when we come into this world, we form connections with many people. So why do we form connections with so many people in this world? It could be through interpersonal relationships, it could be with our parents, it could be with siblings, or it could be all sorts of different connections. Romantic relationships are just one type among them. Therefore, every person's connections have a certain timing. Romantic relationships have an expiration date. For these 10 years, I might feel that this man is especially wonderful. But in the next 10 years, I might suddenly think this guy is useless. In the previous 10 years, because he always had time to be with me every day, I thought, wow, this man is amazing, unlike the men before, whom I could never find. But when it comes to the next 10 years, even if he still wants to spend time with me, but just when I'm working hard on my career, I suddenly start to feel, why is he so clingy? Shouldn't this guy go out and get a proper job? Maybe he's still the same as before, but you've changed, and as a result, you feel like he's the one who's wrong. There are actually a lot of examples like this. So we don't really believe in the so-called right destiny. We just say whether or not a relationship that suits you comes along. But when it comes to whether someone suitable for you appears, the main premise is that there has to be someone first before you can even talk about finding the right one. If there's no one, discussing suitability is completely meaningless. As for the part about suitability, in our courses, we'll tell you how to choose and at what point in time someone is suitable for you. Maybe in the summer they're not suitable. Or maybe at this point in time, even if someone isn't suitable now, after a couple of years they might become suitable for us. We'll explain in detail how, by reading the Zi Wei Dou Shu chart, you can figure out how to select such a person. Or it could be that someone is suitable for you for an entire decade, except for this 1 month, then you just need to get through that month. There are all sorts of subtle techniques like this. So today, in this channel, we'll simply share with everyone whether you'll be able to find someone this year, whether there are opportunities this year, and what you should do this year to increase your chances. As for whether someone is truly suitable, let's first focus on finding someone and then worry about whether it's a perfect match. If you find this helpful, you're welcome to join my classes or become a member of our channel. In the members channel, we'll also discuss these topics. The main focus of the members channel is some friends might want to learn, but you don't want to study an entire comprehensive system. Maybe you're already doing your own research, and you just want to understand certain parts that you can't figure out on your own. Or maybe, because of time constraints, you can't attend regular long-term classes. Although in our formal courses, we have teaching assistants to help, recorded sessions for review, and all kinds of learning support. But for some people, you still feel that the process of learning is stressful for you at the moment, and that's perfectly welcome too. So, you can just join our membership channel. As we've mentioned in the membership channel, you can treat it as a more professional talk show about Dou Shu. That works too. We also make friends, so you can come to class or you can join the membership channel. Today, we're simply going to discuss how to find someone. First, how to find, and then we'll talk about how to find someone good, so you can filter your options. So how can you find someone? Around Valentine's Day, people often ask, teacher, where is my soulmate? Will I have a good opportunity tomorrow? Is there anything special happening tomorrow? So, regarding this, the first thing you need to know is, which elements in your birth chart represent romance? Of course, recently, there's been a lot of discussion online. Some people say Po-Jun star is not a romance star. Honestly, that just means people haven't studied properly. Please, get your facts straight. People with the Po-Jun star are so full of dreams, so romantic, so talented, and usually very attractive, handsome men and beautiful women. If even they don't have romantic luck, then who does? People like me, right? Of course not. Good looks are justice. If you're good looking, romance comes naturally. So, to say they don't have romantic luck, I just can't agree. Where did you even study from? Besides, the Po-Jun star is clearly stated in ancient texts to be closely related to marriage. Yet you say they don't have romantic luck. I really don't know where that idea comes from. Just because Po-Jun transforms into abandonment as a symbol, people think it's not a good sign, not a good omen for romance. But it's still romance, isn't it? Raising kids costs money, and dating also costs money. Guys should know this best. Once you start dating, that's when your finances start to take a hit. So this definitely counts as romantic luck. But from this, we can see people who don't really study, who just mess around with their studies. I don't even think they deserve to call themselves fortune tellers. They claim to be fortune tellers, but they're not even up to standard. And then they go around attacking others, even though they haven't even studied properly themselves. From their perspective, we see something else. There are many types of romantic luck. Anything related to water is considered romantic luck. I've already made a video explaining why things related to water are seen as romantic luck and the reasons behind it. So, who are the main ones in this category? Oh, Po-Jun, Tanlang, Jumen, Tiantong, and Taiyin. All of these can be considered romantic stars. All of them can be counted as romantic stars. What else? The Jianxiang star. Although Jianxiang isn't of the water element, but it refers to interpersonal relationships. What else? And there are also some minor auxiliary stars, not the main ones, but smaller auxiliary stars. For example, Wen Ku Xing. Wen Ku Xing indicates that you are more sentimental, more emotional, and therefore more likely to encounter romantic opportunities. What else? Oh, usually the ones that get criticized the most, like Shenshi and Tianyao. People say they bring bad luck in love, messy relationships, and all sorts of trouble. But actually, the original meaning of Tianyao and Shenshi is not about promiscuity or being a homewrecker. That's not what it means. Instead, it means their way of thinking is different from most people. So, usually when someone has Tianyao or Xianshi in their life palace, Guanlu palace, or migration palace, they tend to be more creative and have different ideas when it comes to doing things. Think about it. What kind of people are we attracted to? We're more likely to be drawn to the one who stands out in a crowd, right? It's like a chessboard where all the pieces are white. If there's only one black piece, who will you notice first? Would you start numbering all the white pieces, saying this is white piece number 1, white piece number 2, white piece number 3, and then say, oh, white piece number 4 looks especially nice, I like it? Of course not. You'll notice the black piece first. So, people with unique personalities or distinctive traits, or those whose ideas are different from others, are naturally more likely to attract attention. And when you attract more attention, you're more likely to be noticed, and being noticed makes it easier to attract the attention of the opposite sex. And of course, it also becomes easier to have so-called romantic opportunities. This is what we often say about fate studies. It cannot be separated from reality. If you look at fate studies from a realistic perspective, you'll be able to tell which things in fate studies are true, which are trying to deceive you, and which are just trying to fool you. When you discuss these things from the perspective of real life, you'll know which things actually are actually useful. Of course, you can't deny that people who are more creative, who have more unique ideas, who think differently from others, are also more likely to believe that stealing someone else's lover is true love. They're more likely to think that even if the person they're attracted to is already married, they can still consider pursuing them. Because their values are different from others, isn't it possible for this kind of situation to occur? Of course. But just because this kind of person exists, we can't immediately label them as someone who wants to be a homewrecker, or accuse them of always trying to steal someone else's spouse. We can't judge them like that. You can't think like that. It's like, if I'm carrying a knife on the street and I run into a robber, I can defend myself more easily. But just because I'm carrying a knife, you can't assume I'm planning to kill someone or commit a crime. That's really strange, isn't it? Otherwise, every man has the physical means to commit rape. Does that mean every man is going to do it? That's just as absurd. Arguments like these are actually the same. It's just that people who study fate and fortune-telling like to make such sweeping statements. So, from this, you can understand that having peach blossom luck or being likely to attract romantic encounters, where does this fundamentally come from? First, it comes from your own personality traits. Maybe you're naturally more trusting. Second, it depends on whether your environment provides you with such opportunities. And third, do you have a goal or intention to pursue this? Do you actually want to do it? On the Zi Wei Dou Shu chart, there are actually 2 stars that specifically represent romantic relationships with the opposite sex. Which 2 stars are these? They are called Hong Luan and Tian Xi. These 2 stars are always in opposition, and they are the ones that truly discuss matters of romance. Other stars, which are considered peach blossom stars, might represent popularity or social connections. They could refer to being well liked by people in general or attracting crowds, but not necessarily romantic partners. The Yuan-Qi stars are very clear. They specifically refer to a romantic partner, and this year is a particularly important year. So, what about this year? Everyone in their annual fortune chart will have a Hong Luan star. It's fixed, everyone has it. So this year, everyone is likely to meet someone they like or someone who likes them when making friends. Didn't we just talk about a few characteristics that appear when peach blossom luck shows up? The first characteristic is that you yourself are like a walking generator. You easily trust others. The second characteristic is your environment. For example, if you live in a kingdom of women, it's easy for the black piece to be surrounded by white pieces. No matter what, you'll end up meeting someone you like or someone who likes you. So what's the third characteristic? The third is the overall situation, the general fortune. And this year, it's a time when it's easy for everyone to find a partner. At this point, you might wonder, but that's the servant palace. What does the servant palace have to do with the spouse palace? First of all, if your servant palace shows the Hongran star, it means that this year, when you're making friends, it's very easy for this to happen. You'll encounter the type you like and people who like you. That's the first point. Of course, you also need to consider the main star in your servant palace. If the main star in your servant palace is the kind that doesn't have any peach blossom stars at all, like Wuku or Qixia, even then, it still means someone likes you. Or maybe you like someone else, but you don't dare to make a move. This goes back to what we just talked about, your personality traits. The second point is, if you've been watching our videos for a long time, you'll know that in the Zi Wei Dou Shu chart, there's something called the Hidden River Palace. This year, it just so happens that the Puyu Palace is secretly aligned with the Spouse Palace, so it's very likely that you'll encounter a romantic situation that arises from making new friends. In my experience, it's very easy, regardless of whether you understand the complicated Dou Shu logic I just explained. If you get it, great. If not, that's okay too. The main point is, this year is truly a very good time. So next, we are going to tell everyone, if I naturally have a romantic disposition, how should I best make the most of it? If I am living in a military camp and do not have any potential partners around, what should I do in that situation? And with such a great opportunity this year, what should I do to help bring out and develop this ability? Of course, before we introduce these 3 points, we definitely need to add something. At times like this, everyone always asks, "Teacher, can I go pray to the matchmaker God, Yue Lao?" Let me first tell you the simplest way to do it. How do you pray to Yue Lao? In principle, as you all know, I always recommend the Taipei Xia High City God Temple. But actually, almost every temple's Yue Lao is fine. In general, that's the case. By the way, have you ever wondered why Yue Lao is always together with the city god? Because if you end up with the wrong person, it's like finding a ghost. If Yue Lao brings you the wrong match, then you might as well have the city god catch the troublemaker for you. Is that how it works? Well, probably not. That's just my personal guess. But anyway, the basic logic actually is that the city god can basically be thought of as the district manager of a certain area. In ancient times, the district manager would usually represent a kind of human resources intermediary. So Yue Lao is just one of the specialists in the HR company, specifically in charge of relationships. If you think about it from this perspective, you'll understand what you need to do when you go to pray to Yue Lao. It's just like when you're looking for a job or trying to find an employee, there's something very important. That is, you have to clearly state your requirements. Otherwise, first of all, a recruitment agency won't know what exactly you're looking for, so it's hard for them to match you with the right person. Second, even if they do arrange someone for you, that person might not be what you want. So, it's extremely important to make your requirements clear. As for which temple you should visit to pray, honestly, the main point is whether you like that temple or not. It's just like some job agency websites. If you don't like the look of the site, then it's probably not the right place for you to search. If you go onto their website and find it more pleasing to the eye and their services seem better, then that's the right place for you to look. So it's the same for temples. If when you light the incense and start praying, you realize you don't feel any connection to that temple, then there's no need to go there. As for Christians, well, Christians don't have any connection to temples, so you don't have a Yue Lao to pray to. There are ways to go about it. Find a temple where you feel calm and at peace inside, a place where you can quietly reflect and think about what you should do. Then while you're in the temple, take the time to really think about what kind of partner you want, and at this point, lay out your criteria. After that, tell the deity about your wishes. This approach usually yields the best results. Generally, if you follow this method, you'll see some results in about 3 to 6 months, unless your birth chart is really too barren, without even a drop of water. Only in that case would it not work. But don't worry, because this year, according to the annual fortune, everyone has a chance at love. So if you go pray this year, the success rate is high. When I say the success rate is high, it's because you still have to consider your personality. If your personality is particularly off-putting, that's another matter. Even if someone likes you, you probably still wouldn't end up together. Okay, in any case, everyone can give it a try this year. It should work pretty well. You need to clearly state your criteria. Let me say it again. What does it mean to clearly state your criteria? For example, if you want your partner to have a good job, what exactly counts as a good job? If you want your partner's income to be decent, what exactly does decent mean? Is 50,000 decent, 80,000, or does it have to be 500,000 for you to consider it decent? And it's very important that what you say is reasonable. You can't be making 50,000 yourself and expect your husband to make 500,000. This is especially important. Or for example, you say your wife can't be overweight. What exactly counts as not overweight? Some people think that only under 40 or 45 kilograms is not overweight, and anything above 40 kilograms is considered overweight. You need to clearly define these standards so things become clear. Only then can the matchmaker know how to help you find someone. After praying to the matchmaker god, what else can you do to help yourself and increase your chances of finding love? Just now, we talked about the first point, which is to improve your own abilities and enhance your romantic prospects. So, first of all, whether it's your natal chart, your major luck cycle, or your annual fortune, if you're not, as I just mentioned, if your life palace or marriage palace doesn't contain any of the stars I just mentioned, what does that mean? It means that at this particular time, your personal charm can't really shine and your destiny isn't able to fully manifest. So what should you do in this situation? At times like this, we would suggest that you make some adjustments in your appearance or in the way you speak and behave. Now, if you already possess this kind of charisma, honestly, you don't really need my advice. You probably don't even need to go pray or anything. Opportunities will naturally come your way. All right, you see, opportunities will increase unless you happen to encounter something like the Tuo Luo star or similar things. But if it's not those, and you yourself don't naturally have romantic luck, then what should you do? Just now we talked about how the true meaning of peach blossom is that you stand out from the crowd and make people feel that you're different. So my suggestion for this year is to try changing up your style and appearance. If you usually like to wear black clothes, maybe try wearing brighter colors. As I just mentioned, you want to be noticed by others, right? To be seen by everyone. Of course, if everyone around you is wearing white, are you going to wear white too? No, at that time you should wear black. You need to do things in your social circle that are different from others so that people notice you. This will help you overcome the first hurdle. You'll make yourself visible to others first. So, what's the second issue? It's about changing your personality and mood. Changing your personality and mood. Nowadays, there are many methods in the metaphysical community and in traditional fortune-telling circles. There are also things like drawing talismans, performing rituals, setting up feng shui arrangements, and so on. A large part of it is about influencing you through your daily life. Hold on, we'll talk about how to change your mood in a moment. When my mood changes, my personality will change. When my personality changes, I will naturally start to show a different side of myself. Earlier, we talked about clothing. Dressing is a way for others to see you directly from your appearance. But when it comes to changing your personality, you have to influence yourself, your body, mind, and spirit. Nowadays, people like to talk about the law of manifestation and self-hypnosis. Actually, there are similar methods in traditional fortune telling as well. It's about constantly telling yourself, hey, this year I want to do this and that. This year I want to meet more people. This year I want to do more of this or that. To be honest, this part is explained in more detail in our course. Then it will clearly tell you how to do self-suggestion and hypnosis, which will activate the power on your chart and change your whole personality. We will talk about this in detail in our course, but here we can't go into that much detail. So we can teach everyone a simple method, and there are also some supporting ways. For example, for instance, the ancients would try to make some changes in scent. What does it mean to change the scent? Lighting incense using essential oils or even an aromatherapy diffuser, people are naturally affected by different scents, which can influence your mood. For example, as everyone knows, lavender helps to calm us down. Of course, there are also other scents that are more aphrodisiac. For example, musk can ultimately make your desires stronger. This is one way of using external influences. What else is there? Many people have liked wearing crystals and gold in recent years. When it comes to the trend of crystals, a lot of people ask me, Teacher Shui, do crystals really work? Of course, they have a magnetic field, but if you think about it, such a small magnetic field is actually useless. Actually, its significance isn't that great. What's more important is that it serves as a reminder or a suggestion to yourself. For example, if I want to find a relationship this year, I might use a scent or some kind of accessory to tell myself, hey, I need to make more changes this year. When someone invites me out, instead of refusing, or when I feel like saying, oh, I'm so tired, I look at the pink crystal on my hand and remind myself, this year, I want to attract romance into my work, so I should go for it. It's more about giving yourself a hint or suggestion. Back then, even a small crystal ball, or maybe eating more seafood in your diet, and then the scent in your environment can be something more stimulating, which makes it easier for you to change. And of course, when your personality changes, you'll have more energy, finally. If neither of these two methods works, and even praying to the gods doesn't help and you still feel it's not enough, then we have a more direct and simple approach. Just go straight to adjusting your feng shui layout. This year, the auspicious star for romance will be fixed in everyone's east and west directions, especially the west, because the migratory star is in the east and the romance star is in the west. Because red and blue represent romance, and the weather represents effectiveness. Of course, if you're looking to have a child, you should place things in the east. If you're hoping for romance, you should place them in the west. For everyone, this year, both the east and west directions will have the annual romance star present, which means that your east and west directions will both be especially prosperous for you in this regard. What's the logic behind this? Everyone has their own preferred space. Some people like to stand against the wall when they enter an elevator, while others prefer to stand near the elevator buttons. That's human nature, but the environment works the same way. For example, at certain times everyone likes to go hiking, and at other times it's popular to go to the beach. So, what kind of impact does the environment have, and how does the environment affect us this year? Our soft washing core happens to be in the east and west, but how should we approach this in terms of feng shui arrangement? In feng shui, there's a very simple and direct method of catalyzing this. It's about making it visible. How do you make it so that area appears brighter in your space? That way, you'll notice it. So, in your space, it will make you feel like, oh, this is an area I need to pay more attention to, and you'll be influenced by that area. Therefore, this year, if you want to enhance your luck, open your compass in your home environment, find the western position, and then light a lamp there. This will activate the western area of your home and the corresponding star energy there. Of course, there are many scientific details and various methods of application involved in this process. Oh, we'll cover this in detail in our feng shui layout course, but for now, you can try this method and see how it works for you. You can try to activate that area, and you'll usually notice, if things go well, within about 3 months, you'll find that your luck with the opposite sex improves. If it doesn't, even after you've set up your layout properly, it probably means that your marital peak is really too barren. So barren that no matter how you shine the light, it won't help. Otherwise, you should start to feel a change, like your luck with the opposite sex is improving. But even if your luck improves, you still need to take action. Only by making good choices can you find the right partner. So in terms of feng shui layout, you can use this method. This year, everyone has the opportunity to meet new friends and, during this period, find someone you like or someone who likes you. Everyone can make good use of this method. If you've tried it and found it very effective, or if you're my student and have already learned this technique in class, you're welcome to leave a comment below and share your experience. We can all exchange ideas. Or, if you have experience praying to the matchmaker god but haven't seen any results, and then you tried a different method that worked, you can also leave me a message. If you have even better methods, feel free to share them with us as well. Everyone is also welcome to join our official Line group or participate in the courses offered by our association. In these courses, you'll learn precisely how to use feng shui arrangements to attract good fortune, and also what kind of people will be good for you. If you join our official group, we'll let you know, for example, where your personal peach blossom romantic luck direction is. This year, it's in the east and west. What about next year? What should you do then? We'll also let you know. Wishing everyone a happy Qixi Festival in advance. Thank you all.